You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
I walk from end to end of the market on a daily basis and really try to keep my eye on things.
With so many mass shootings in the last year at schools and concerts, there have been an increase in security, but mainly at schools. But what about when we're out in public? Good evening, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. Alan Cohn has the night off. We'll have more on security in public in a moment, but first, our top stories at 7. We begin tonight with a cold case solved nearly 20 years after a Sarasota woman was sexually battered, beaten, and murdered. Deputies arresting her suspected killer. The break came in the form of new DNA technology that led detectives to their man. In 1999, Deborah Dalzell was found dead inside her Sarasota home. Until now, a killer was never arrested. Now, 39-year-old Luke Fleming is charged with her murder and behind bars in Sarasota County after he was arrested Sunday night in Ellenton. According to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, back in 1999, Fleming was 20 years old when he jumped over a 6-foot wall, cut a hole in Dalzell's screened-in porch, and then brutally beat, sexually battered, and strangled her.
He has an unremarkable criminal history, which includes a domestic battery arrest in 2002 by the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Over the past year, Luke has been residing alone in Pinellas County.
Deputies had collected a semen sample from the scene back in 1999, but it wasn't until recent years that a technology called phenotyping was developed, ultimately leading deputies to Fleming. Now, deputies gave us more information about that accused murderer who's been living among us undetected for nearly 20 years. Before he moved to St. Petersburg last year, 39-year-old Luke Fleming lived in Palmetto. Deputies say he was originally from Brooklyn, New York, but moved to Sarasota in 1991. Fleming went to area schools until graduating from Riverview High School in 1997. We knocked on several doors today trying to find Fleming's family. Our search led us to the home that he lived in less than 1 mile from the victim back in 1999. His brother answered the door but did not want to comment. In other news tonight, a local rock legend is in critical condition this evening. Dickie Betts has been hospitalized after an accident at his home. Betts is the singer-songwriter and founding Allman Brothers Band guitarist. The 74-year-old was playing with his dog at his Osprey home when he slipped and cracked his head, causing bleeding in his brain. Betts is reportedly in stable but critical condition, and brain surgery is scheduled for Friday. A lack of direction among Florida's 67 counties has caused the number of rejected vote-by-mail ballots to vary greatly across the state, according to a report released today. The American Civil Liberties Union of Florida releasing that study, which says the absentee ballots of young voters and racial minorities are more likely to be rejected than for other groups. The ACLU does not know why certain groups are rejected more often. Now, ballots are often flagged for missing or mismatched signatures. The ACLU report says the procedures to inform voters about rejected ballots and find ways to fix them also vary from county to county.
In order to protect your vote, in order to ensure that your vote is counted, you need to take steps to track your ballot. You need to take steps to cure if your rejected ballot, if it's rejected by your supervisor of elections.
Voting by mail has become increasingly popular each election cycle. During the 2016 election, nearly 30% of those who voted did so by mail. Tonight, the Democratic nominee in Florida's 16th congressional district is issuing a public apology. A media outlet recently reported that David Shapiro's son, Adam Shapiro, made several offensive comments on his social media accounts about 8 years ago. David Shapiro has sent a statement condemning his son's past behavior. Adam Shapiro also issuing an apology and stating that he will no longer play a role in his father's race. Shapiro is challenging Republican incumbent Vern Buchanan for the seat in Congress. If you'd like to read those full statements, you can head over to our website at mysuncoast.com and look for this story. An update now on a missing police canine out of Manatee County. The Sheriff's Office says Boss has been found and is okay. A resident off of County Road 675 spotted Boss at around 5:45 this evening and called the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office said the dog ran into the woods this morning near Foxbrook Communities off of County Road 675 in Parrish. Boss was in the middle of his morning routine when he became distracted and then took off. So we are glad to hear that he is found. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our first alert forecast this Wednesday evening. Bob?
That's good. Boss is back. We are looking at storms to be back too with us on a little bit more widespread basis. Beginning tomorrow, but more so Friday and into the weekend. We've had a few around. They've been scattered about. Now, there's some dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere, say above 40,000 feet. So once the storms get about that high, they start to weaken somewhat. You can see a pretty big cell right there near Parrish. This is not moving all that much. We had some rainfall near Lakewood Ranch earlier. That rain has since come to an end for the most part. It was heavy at one point. Boy, very impressive. But as I said, as it taps into that drier air, as it starts to get a little bit more intense, it starts to slow it down. So this here is not moving much at all. The one near Mayaca City generating quite a bit of lightning. It'll be sticking around. This one drifting off to the south and southwest at 5 to 10. Not much going on near the coast right now. I think we will see some outflow boundaries from those inland storms eventually head back toward the coast later on tonight, so I would not be surprised to see a little bit of action there later on. Some light rain still lingering, by the way, west of I-75 near University and stretching to US 41. There's the heavier weather, though, as I mentioned, in rainfall amounts pretty impressive in some areas, nearly an inch right there into Manatee County west of I-75 near US 301 near Oneiko. And also some heavier rainfall near Mayaca City, just to the north. Inglewood also had some rain earlier today. Then the Van Wezel webcam showing pretty calm conditions out there in the waters, flat calm really. We have a west wind that has developed, a sea breeze this afternoon. We're going to see more of an easterly wind, looks like beginning Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which will allow for those afternoon and evening storms to be a little closer to the coast and a little bit more widespread. We'll have more on that and the tropics as well. And you want to keep up to date with all the latest weather and breaking weather information as well as the tropics. We still have over 2 months left to go. By going to your app store, if you haven't done so already, go to your app store, do a search for WWSB First Alert Weather and download it for free. Some valuable information there at the tip of your fingers. Back to you, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Bob. We live in a world where everyone is on alert 24/7 in fear of terror striking at any moment. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us to share how leaders of local events are improving our security.
One local event director is asking the city of Sarasota for thousands of dollars just in case. Video gamers were not expecting gunfire at a tournament in Jacksonville. Spectators were not planning on evacuating from a high school football game in Palm Beach when shots were fired outside of the stadium. And in Parkland, students and staff were not prepared to say goodbye to their classmates or coworkers on February 14th at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
It's a shame that, people have to be on guard, even at a school these days.
But terror has no boundaries and finds its way into the most unlikely places. Phil Pagano, the executive director of the Sarasota Farmers Market, doesn't want to see the name of his festival in national headlines.
As time changes, we need to react to, what's going on.
The farmers market already pays out of pocket for a police officer on site every Saturday to protect its 500,000 visitors annually. Pagano says it's important to have swift communication between staff and backup officers.
We have a number of staff that actually has walkie-talkies and communications throughout the market.
Right now, small plastic barriers block cars from entering the farmers market. That's why Pagano is asking the Downtown Improvement District for $17,000 to fund 16 Jersey-style barricades to block the intersections of Lemon with Main Street and First Street.
I walk from end to end of the market on a daily basis and really try to keep my eye on things.
Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority.
In the event an uninvited guest poses a safety hazard, it's important to be prepared. Sarasota Police Chief Bernadette DePino regularly speaks with community groups on what to do in an active shooter situation. She says 3 steps can make a difference: run, hide, and fight. Insist on evacuating and warn others to avoid the danger zone. Find a safe place, lock the door, and stay quiet. And as a last resort, fight back by improvising weapons and fighting with aggression. Before Sarasota event organizers are faced with the worst-case scenario, Pagano is open to the idea of putting downtown Sarasota on lockdown during events, like we see on New Year's Eve. Until then, he wants to reassure guests that safety is a top priority for the farmers market.
Always concerned about safety is probably number one.
Although the Parkland and Pulse nightclub shootings both took place here in Florida, the state surprisingly doesn't lead the country with the most gun violence. A report by 24/7 Wall Street places Florida right in the middle of its rankings, with about 12 out of every 100,000 people killed by gun violence. Reporting in the control room, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Coming up next, a former commissioner for the NYPD and the man in charge of the farmers market in Sarasota discuss the fears we live in today and their solutions to those problems. Next at the Trapezoid.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just gotta
trying as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather, we're here for you.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Welcome back. We've seen many mass shootings in the United States, from school shootings at Virginia Tech and Parkland to a concert in Las Vegas or a nightclub in Orlando. Unfortunately, we live in a society where many of us are constantly looking over our shoulders in places where we should feel safe. Now, we're not going to discuss stricter gun laws or mental health tonight. We want to focus and discuss what steps are being taken to make us feel more secure when we leave our homes. Here to discuss is Anthony Shembri, who is a former commissioner of the NYPD and was the basis for the hit TV show The Commish, and Phil Pagano, the executive director for the Sarasota Farmers Market. And Mr. Shembri, I wanted to ask you first, following Parkland here in Florida, you know, we've seen increased security at schools, a lot of people kind of talking more about this issue at hand. How has this transpired for other security measures?
Well, they're now looking at putting databases together so that communities can react, mass communication, We're seeing what weapons that these people use. They're using vehicles a lot more, so the Jersey barriers are going up at these sites. And we need to spread that around. How we're training these security guards or something else too. They need to look at people when they come into these places. They're taking pictures. What are they taking pictures of? Shut-off valves, fire department switches. So people should be alert for those kinds of things. If you see something, report something.
Certainly. And Mr. Pagano, for you guys with the farmers market, I know you have applied for a grant within the city to help with security. What has prompted that?
Well, I think, like I said, over the years with, different things happening, that we need to be proactive as a market. We're a non-for-profit, 501c3. We have a board of directors. So, we've been talking about it for a while. And, the vehicle thing, has been very important. So, we've tried to, shore up with some, some thoughts that way, putting some things together.
All right, and you had mentioned the Jersey-style barricades, one of the big things you guys are applying for. What is that?
Well, we talked to here's what has happened. Is about 6 or 7 months ago, we asked for the DID, the Downtown Improvements District, for some partial funding or some funding. And they preferred to put in some hydraulic bollards. And that sense, I don't think has sort of worked out because of the expense. So we're in the middle of talking to the city. We will be, because they're putting in some bollards when they start redoing Lemon, rebricking Lemon. So.
All right, well, thank you so much. Well, our conversation on security and the public continues right after we get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
You got to have the rain to make one of these, and this is a beautiful one. Sunset getting shortly, coming up here shortly, and just the right angle with the rain still falling around, allowing this beautiful rainbow to fall right on the flag here at the second hole at Palmer. That's a great shot, isn't it? John Brown getting that. The red tide, not the best of news. This is looking worse now into Lee County. You can see a little bit more of that red tide. This is a satellite image, by the way, showing that red tide expanding offshore. And you can see it also expanding off of Sarasota. Now, there's lesser amounts now just west of Manatee County, but they still have high concentrations there. The midweek report showing high concentrations in Sarasota as well, especially near Inglewood and also up north near New Pass. Lesser amounts near Venice. But still, I had some reports on social media indicating the bad smell, the irritation is still there on a lot of the area beaches. So high concentrations are 1 million cells per liter, and it doesn't appear that it's going to be going away anytime soon. The only good news coming out on the weather front is that we're going to see a little bit more of an easterly wind flow to our winds over the next several days. In fact, running in through the weekend and beyond, that keeps the harmful impacts at least offshore during much of the morning and early afternoon. Well, we're going to have another nice sunset tonight, flat, calm seas out there, and that's, again, a result of the west coast breeze kind of lessening up somewhat. Storms have been really intense over Polk County and also now into Hardy County near Wauchula. Not much near the coast. Storms started to make a break toward the coastline and don't have much success. There's still a few light showers there along University. You can see this storm is weakening, but it'll get some pushes from some of the outflow boundaries from the storms that are around to the North Parish and just to the south of Parish, getting a pretty heavy storm that is trying to work off toward the west now, toward Interstate 75 and State Road 70. You're going to need some rainfall at State Road 64. This storm just fired up, and again, that's a result of the outflow boundaries. Now, dry air in place usually means the storms aren't going to be that widespread, and when they get rather intense, they start to tap into this dry air. So even though it's raining heavy in your neighborhood, maybe it's going to kind of come to an end here fairly soon as a result of that dry air. It is thinning out, though, and we're going to see more moisture come back into play beginning tomorrow, but more so on in through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So tomorrow, look for a chance for a few showers and storms, especially inland, pushing off toward the west coast in the afternoon and evening, and then we'll see that again on Friday. Football Friday night, we could see another round of showers and storms right around kickoff time. It'll be a little closer to the coast, too, simply because that east wind doesn't allow the west coast sea breeze to penetrate too far inland. and that'll be the case on Saturday and Sunday. Well, in the tropics, after a terrible week last week with Florence, we are looking at quiet conditions right now. Midweek, not much going on. The remnants of what was Isaac continues to push off to the west and not showing any signs of organization at this point. So that's good news. Still a lot of shear going on in the Caribbean and into the southwest Gulf of Mexico. So that should not get any organization to it. 74 degrees right now. It's cooled in Jacksonville. In Orlando, it's down to 77. 82 with the Sarasota Braden Airport, 87 degrees now, the Gulf water temperature. That's still warm. Northport, you're at 86. Mayaca City has some clouds and showers nearby, cooled things down into the mid to upper 80s there now, but 82 degrees at the airport and 71 on the humidity. The dew point temperature has come down to 72. Those winds have switched around now to the east. They had been out of the west for the past several hours. So tomorrow, for voters, northeast winds turn to the northwest, 5 to 10 knots, and a light chop out there in the bays and inland waters. The extended forecast and better chances for at least some scattered storms tomorrow. It'll still be hot. High temperatures in the low 90s with a heat index up near 100 to 104 degrees in the afternoon. That'll be the case again on Friday and in through the weekend, despite fall arriving. On Saturday night, it's going to be summer, at least feel like it all the way through midweek next week. Jacqueline will be right back after this.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans. And prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free. Call or go online right now.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. We're talking about how to make public areas safe from possible attacks. And here to discuss is Anthony Schembri, a former commissioner of the New York State Police Commissioners, and Phil Pagano, the executive director for the Sarasota Farmers Market. Now, Phil, we were talking about the grant that you had applied for within the city for safety measures. Now, what was security like before, and is it at the level that you want it to be at?
Well, I think, we're always trying to make it better, and, like I've said earlier, you know, a lot of this stuff is new to us. I mean, you know, the market next year will be here 40 years. Right. So a lot of it's evolved, you know, with, you know, things that happen, you know, around the world and in the United States. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, keep up with, you know, keeping our customers and vendors and everybody as safe as possible.
Certainly. And what have your customers said about increased security? Do they want more of it, less of it?
A lot of people like it, and you know, we've got a big Facebook page that Heather Emsel that works for us has done a great job, and we stay, you know, some communication with people. But you know, some people were very pleased that we were, you know, had some different initiatives to make it safe.
Certainly. Mr. Schembury, I wanted to ask you, when you worked in New York, how much of a concern was this, these types of incidents, and how have you seen these concerns change over your professional career?
Well, the community is getting more involved. Basically, the formula for crime is rather simple. Opportunity plus desire equals a crime. If you take one away, you don't have any crime. Now, because the desire is so strong on the part of these people, that we're putting our strength towards reducing opportunities. Now, that can transform into a lot of different things. But you got to wake up the community, and unfortunately that happens after things like Texas in the church or Vegas. We have to look at the patterns. They're using a lot more vehicles today. They test out the facility that they want to attack. They might pull a fire alarm. They take pictures. They plan. This is not something they do on the spur of the moment. They see where the shut-off valves are. They disable fire alarms. They plan. They look at the weakness. So you need, number one, mass communication so that everybody knows that there's a problem. For example, in the library today, there are buttons that they press that could set off an alarm internally that there's a problem. Now, you would have to sit down and I think there's an app that lets people know that there's a problem in the facility at that moment.
Okay, well, I don't mean to cut any of you off, but we are just getting warmed up. Our conversation,
no one ever cuts me off.
Our conversation on security and the public will continue after a quick break.
It's Venice Toyota's monumental model year-end clearance. Rates are rising. For a limited time, 0%. New Toyotas, $8,000 off. With Camrys and Corollas, your choice from $19,900 to $15,000. Shop 24/7 at VeniceToyota.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
How do you open tough jar lids? Do you try this one? Or this one? Or how about this one?
Honey?
This is the future. Shouldn't there be a robot for this by now? There is. Introducing RoboTwist, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. Just set it down, press the button, and watch it work. First, the RoboStrong vise locks down tight. Then the powerful twisting action unscrews the lid. RoboTwist is yours for the special introductory price of just $19.99. That's right, the robotic jar opener that easily twists off even the toughest lids. All for just $19.99. Whether the jar is big or small, RoboTwist can open them all. Supplies are limited, so don't delay. Here's how to get yours today.
Call 1-800-347-1073. That's 1-800-347-1073. Or order online at buyrobotwist.com.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwell's at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
It's Venice Toyota's monumental model year-end clearance. Rates are rising. For a limited time, 0%. New Toyotas, $8,000 off. RAVs and Highlanders from $26,900 to $2,900. Shop 24/7 at VeniceToyota.com.
Find out first at 4 with ABC7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC7. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back. We're talking about how to make public areas safe from possible attacks. And here to discuss is Anthony Shembri, a former police commissioner from New York State, and Phil Pagano, the executive director for the Sarasota Farmers Market. Now, Mr. Shembri, I wanted to ask you, we've seen with the incident that happened in Jacksonville at the Video Gamers event, the Madden shooting, and then also some other events where you wouldn't necessarily think it would be an unsecure area. How do you plan for these types of large events without putting people on edge?
Well, we're distinguishing between soft targets and hard targets. Like when you go into an airport, as soon as you go in, it's a soft target, anybody can go in. As soon as you go through security, now it's a hard target. So these events, and I think the responsibility falls on the owners to provide some security and training for their people, and that training falls down to clerks, cashiers who notice something, they should report it. So you have to train your personnel. These security guards that just stand in front of an entrance, that's not enough anymore. They have to be trained to look at people, furtive glances, suspicious activity, backpacks, things of that sort.
Okay, and do you think it'll come to a point where we end up having, a security guard at perhaps maybe every McDonald's on the corner?
Well, we're looking for that middle ground. Otherwise, the security becomes too prohibitive to us. We can't move around as we would. But that's the goal of the terrorists, isn't it? To strike fear in us. And if we don't do that, well, then they're succeeding.
Certainly. Okay, and Mr. Pagano, you said 500,000 people come to your farmers market annually.
I was telling Mr. Shermer during the break here that, we cover 3 city blocks. Right. We have a number of entrances, and, especially with vehicles. We've been working on, even getting more involved with, blocking those areas. Chief DePino sent down one of his sergeants today. We're doing a shift over to First Street whilst the construction goes on. So he came down, we looked around at some, some isolated areas that we want to block off. But we need to let our customers know that we have a safe environment, as safe as, we can make it. I mean, I guess nothing is perfectly safe ever. These professionals know obviously more than me, but we just try to do the best we can and make people feel somewhat comfortable. Especially young people like yourself that come to the market frequently, and mothers, expecting mothers. So we have, and you talk about bags and you talk about taking photos, everybody's got a bag and everybody's got a phone taking photos. So we have a lot going on in an outdoor event.
Do you think, I know when I spoke with you a few weeks ago, we had talked about, or I had spoken with some people at the farmers market and their thoughts on security at the farmers market. Some even told me, there's a point where they would feel like at such a community event, too much would be a limit, and they would feel kind of on edge and concerned about that. Is that something you guys factor in, or do you think one police officer is enough?
That's the thing about the market. It's for the community. I mean, and everybody gathers there, on Saturday mornings, and it's, You know, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, or Democrat, or Independent, or from around the world. It just generates, you know, a great morning. But, you know, we still have to be on guard for, you know, anything potentially happening.
Certainly. And Mr. Schembri, when you have something that is of those types of natures when it comes to a farmer's market, a thing that you would not think on a Saturday morning would be a target, how do you prepare for that? How do people in Phil's position here prepare for those types of things?
He sits down with the law enforcement agencies that have jurisdiction. They do tabletop exercises. They meet weeks before. They look at who's going to be there. They train the security guards and the officers. Just because someone is a police officer doesn't mean he's trained in these things. So they have to go down and look at and fix responsibility. They have to have the layout or floor plan available. So should something happen, that floor plan can be downloaded. Now this is the mechanics of policing and responding to these events. We want responding officer, number one, to be protected. Number two, to go to the right place and get accurate and timely information. So that's done ahead of time, not the day before, meeting with a lone police officer who stands at an entrance. That's not good anymore.
Let me just say, Chief DePino has sent down many officers, so it's not just one. I mean, this is a downtown core, so there's always multiple police officers throughout the morning and throughout the day. So, you know, none of them are on our payroll. We have one, but there's a lot of communication that goes on with us. The ambulance is not far away, so, you know, a lot of these, you know, the chief has done a great job working with us and sending additional folks. Officers to be around. So, you know, we do have some, it's not just one person looking at, you know, 3 blocks. So we do get some help from the city.
Well, unfortunately, you know, we haven't had any significant attacks here in Sarasota, but we do have large festivals, large events. Lots of people come here from around the world, around the country to see the different things that we have to offer here. Lots of events at Nathan Benderson Park. What do we need to do to prepare for these types of things without deterring people away from our area?
Well, I think we miss the social glue in a community, and that's its churches. I like to get involved in the churches, let them know what's going on, that we partner with them. In England, when you get on a train, it says, if you see something, say something. I think we need to instill that in some of the citizens when they see something suspicious to report it. So I think these are the things that are coming here, and it should be on a quicker train.
Okay, and you've mentioned the vehicles that are being used oftentimes in some attacks.
Trucks.
We've seen that in I believe, Paris, France, if I remember correctly. Yes. And you are applying for some of those Jersey-style barricades.
We're actually working with a couple of different options that we're trying to raise some funds. Sierra Coleman, that's our marketing director, she's actually applying for some grants. So we're trying to get some funding. I mean, we're, you know, a lot of organizations like ourselves, we're small. So we have to apply for grants to make some things happen.
Well, how beneficial are those types of barricades?
Well, these are the vehicles that they're using. You were right that in Paris, they're using trucks, they're using vehicles, they contain explosives, so it's a good vehicle to carry explosives. And I think him trying to protect it with the Jersey barriers is a very, very good idea. I think every facility ought to have those, especially outdoor markets.
Okay. One thing I will say is our social media that, you know, we use a lot. We had an incident where someone was in a costume and we had some problems with, remember last year? And through our social media, people actually reached out and said, you know, there's been a problem over here, there's been a problem over there. So I'm a little older, but a lot of these young people, they're using social media, and that is also a good thing that we're in tune with.
Okay, and how are you communicating with, I know I've seen you out there at the farmer's market walking throughout the entire thing, but how are you communicating? Maybe somebody sees something a little off with some of your other people.
Me. I mean, you know, I get the hat, so, you know, people usually can find me. But we have other points. We have a information booth that people can go to, or if they talk to another vendor, they have communication with me or some of our staff. And you know, our staff does have two-way radio, so we try to, you know, keep in communication if we hear of something.
All right. Well, we have to take a quick break. We'll have our final thoughts when we return.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans. And prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free. Call or go online right now.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels right. It feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-871-1644. 800-871-1644.
Welcome back. Our guests join us for our final thoughts. And Mr. Schembri, I wanted to start with you. We can't protect everything. So what should we do as citizens to protect ourselves?
Well, as I said in the London trains, if you see something, say something. The more eyes and ears that are out there, you point police time in a direction that could prove to be beneficial, and not just random patrol, but a directed patrol, checking out things that are suspicious in nature. Okay, someone hanging around a place people shouldn't be hanging around for too long a period of time. Okay, people should report that.
And do you encourage perhaps maybe employers or organizers of events to have a plan of action?
Yes, there should be a communication between employees. Employees should get some on-the-job training about identifying and recognizing suspicious activities. Okay.
And Phil, I wanted to ask you, what can the public do at types of events like your farmers market to keep themselves safe?
Like Mr. Sherman says, you know, report anything they say. We have police officers. But, you know, I think people need to feel comfortable when they come down. We're working on implementing, you know, some different kind of bollards and things like that over the next 6 months. So we'll be using vehicles. So if there's any car dealerships that want to be a sponsor, we need a few more vehicles. But I like to thank Mr. Shermer because Shembry, yeah, because during the break offered him to he could volunteer for us. Always good for something like that.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming out tonight. We want to thank Anthony Shembry, who is a former police commissioner for New York State, and Phil Pagano, the executive director for the Sarasota Farmers Market, for joining us tonight. When we return, Republicans and Democrats have a very different view of what should be done about the accusations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. What's going to happen? But first, let's get a check on our First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your evening. Here's the Holmes Beach webcam showing a pretty nice sunset tonight. There are a few folks out there, and the sea's running less than 2 feet. The sun has already gone below the horizon there and lit up the sky quite nicely. We are looking at generally fair skies. Unfortunately, red tide change is not the best news. We still have over 120 miles of the coast from Pinellas County southward to Lee County reporting some form of red tide. Now, we have the area in blue that you see right there, Manatee and Lee County. That's 5 to 25% lower, and that's mainly offshore too. So we're seeing lower concentrations there, and that's over the past week from the 8th to the 14th. As far as the change goes elsewhere across our area, we are looking at a little bit higher concentrations near Charlotte County, anywhere from a 5 to 25% jump. And unfortunately, in Sarasota and Pinellas County especially, they're starting to feel it on the Clearwater Beach area up there. A lot of the nice beaches are starting to get a little bit more red tide. That's a greater than 25% change, and that's not good. We are looking at the rainfall around, a lot of it inland near Wauchula over North Hardy County. That rain is coming down pretty heavy too right now. Arcadia also, right there near Arcadia, some big storms, and that was moving actually to the northwest. Look how it builds that way, and this is dropping to the south. That's what I mean. While these storms move in any direction, really as a result of the outflow boundaries from previous storms have been dancing around. This one now near State Road 64, extending west now into Manatee Avenue. Some pretty heavy rainfall at Heritage Harbor. It's coming down heavy there. Just a few lightning strikes so far with that cell. Elsewhere near the coast, not much going on. Things are fairly quiet there. But as I said, these storms here will generate these little boundaries, or little cold fronts, if you will, miniature cold fronts, which will make it out to the coast and into the Gulf, which will kick off a few scattered storms, we do believe. Dry air pretty much in place where they need it over the Carolinas, so not much rainfall there today. And you can see that dry air in place, the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere over Florida, although it is starting to thin out just a little bit there. Forecast, futurecast, although this model is not depicting it because it had bad initialization, because there are storms out there right now into central portions of our viewing area. Well, they're going to head off into the Gulf. There'll be a few scattered storms around there. And then tomorrow, a chance for showers and storms, a little bit better chance making it toward the coast. Even better still on Friday. Unfortunately, football Friday night could get a little wet to start the game. Most of the action should be winding down, though, by halftime. Now, GOES Satellite 16 showing the disturbance in the Western Caribbean is now going to emerge into the Gulf of Mexico, but there's no concern. Winds are not favorable for development with that system. And we're watching the remnants of what was Joyce out there in the Atlantic. That is a 10% chance of redevelopment. But that's way out there in the Atlantic. The next named storm will be Kirk, followed by Leslie, Michael, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, and Raphael. Typically, we have 5 more storms from this time forward to November 30th, so that would take us into Oscar. We'll see if that'll play out, but hopefully nothing has an impact on our coast here. Temperatures cooled down now because of the rain-cooled air that's blown in some areas. Still, it's 86 in Punta Gorda, 86 in Sebring, 85 in Sarasota, and the Gulf water temperature now at 87 degrees. Currently, at the Sarasota-Braden Airport, it's 81. And the dew point temperature is still pretty high at 73. Makes it feel like 86. The high today was 90, 1 degree above average, and 77 was our morning low, running 3 degrees above the average. Well, high pressure, you can kind of see it by these clouds kind of riding over the top of it, is going to build in over the southeast, and that will shut down any kind of storm from entering into the picture. So that's good news for the folks trying to get through Florence. Still, some of the rivers and streams are rising there, but with high pressure building in, that means no additional rainfall, at least significant rain, expected throughout that region. For beach and boating, not much wind out there for your sail. Light chop in the bays and inland water. Seas running less than 2 feet, really. And the 7-day forecast, I mentioned ever-changing rain chances getting higher and higher on Friday and Saturday. That's typical of summer. As you see, that will stay with us all the way through next week as well. A good chance for scattered mainly afternoon and evening storms, and what that means is we see an easterly wind, which is good news as far as red tide goes, at least some bright news. It's still pretty bad out there. Jacqueline will be right back after this.
The final 2018 Accord clearance is now during our model year-end clearance sale. Drive new Accords for just $249 a month. Get an Accord, the North American car of the year, for less than the competition. With more standard features than Camry, Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, turbocharged engine, and more. New Accords, just $249 a month. Your last chance for new Accords, all on clearance this week at your local Honda dealer.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real.
You can recover.
It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
The world is a beautiful place again.
Join the Voices for Recovery. For confidential information for mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Like ABC7 on Facebook to stay connected to the team you trust.
Checking in on primetime headlines, the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court is playing out in the Senate, and the politics are fierce. Now that Kavanaugh's accuser and Democrats have asked for an FBI investigation before any hearing, Republicans and Democrats are now taking sides. ABC's Lana Zach is in Washington with more.
The chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, says he still hopes Dr. Christine Blasey Ford will testify on Monday.
We're not going to cancel any hearing until the last minute. I don't know what the last minute is, but until the last minute, in hopes that she'll take us up.
The Washington Post first reported Blasey Ford's allegation that as a stumbling drunk teen in the 1980s, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her while both were high school students. Kavanaugh strongly denies the allegation, but others have found it credible.
I believe what she said.
And now the Senate is divided. Should they hold a vote or press the pause button?
We've got a deadline of October 1. That's when the Supreme Court starts, and I think we ought to meet it.
This nomination has been pushed and pushed and pushed with artificial deadlines.
Democrats, still stung by Republicans refusing to even meet with Merrick Garland, President Obama's nominee in 2016, are upset that Republicans are now rushing to get Kavanaugh's confirmation done before the midterm election. President Trump today urging both patience and speed.
I want to give it all the time they need. They've already given it time. They've delayed a major hearing.
And for the first time, he seemed to suggest Kavanaugh's nomination could be in jeopardy.
If she shows up and makes a credible showing, that'll be very interesting, and we'll have to make a decision.
And Senator Grassley says that Dr. Blasey Ford can testify in public or in private, and he's even offered to send staffers out to California to meet with her. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
3 people were seriously wounded this morning when a co-worker opened fire at a software firm in Wisconsin. The gunman critically injured during an exchange of gunfire with law enforcement and died later at the hospital. The gunman's name has not yet been released, and the motive for that shooting is still unclear. The man accused of killing Molly Tibbetts pleading not guilty in an Iowa court today. Christian Rivera was arraigned in district court on murder charges. The 24-year-old Mexican citizen wore headphones and listened to the proceedings with the help of a Spanish translator. Last month, Rivera was charged with Tibbetts' murder. Tibbetts, a college student in Iowa, vanished in July while out for a run. Her body was later found in a cornfield. Today, Rivera waived his right to a speedy trial, so a judge set an April 2019 trial date. He's in jail on a $5 million cash-only bond. Well, guess who's performing at this year's Super Bowl halftime show? I'll give you a hint. They have moves like Jagger. That's right. Various media report Maroon 5 will perform at the Super Bowl on February 3rd in Atlanta. Neither the band nor the NFL has confirmed those reports, but the NFL does note it is a Super Bowl tradition to speculate about the performers. An official halftime notice for Super Bowl 53 is expected in November. Well, that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Alan Cohn will be back tomorrow night. Have a great one.